Hello guys and welcome back to a new video on Sketchapp TV. My name is Max and today I'm very proud to tell you that this is the 100th episode on the channel, so the 100th tutorial. And I really want to thank you for your support and all of that, and because this is like a special tutorial and a special video for me, I thought that I want to improve myself and the tutorials by just using my monitor, which is the 27-inch monitor with this resolution right here. I didn't use it before for any kind of tutorial, but I think it could be really an improvement. So if you liked the tutorial on this big screen, just leave your feedback down in the comments below or give this video a thumb up. And now let's just get right into Sketch, where we are designing something. So you also see that I have hidden my dock in at the bottom, so we have really much space to design screens. Okay, so let's hit A, and we are just adding a new artboard. In my case, I'm just going for the normal iPhone 6 one, and we are building a sports e-commerce like overview, where the people can choose from different categories of like clothings and accessories and so on, which they maybe want to buy. And let's just get into this. Okay, so we are of course going to need a status bar, and we are grabbing this status bar from the normal template that we have, which is right here. Let's grab one of these. I just grab the first one. There we have it. Let's align it at the top. And what we are also going to need is the material design icons. These are also linked down in the description if you want to check them out, if you want to download them. I'm using them in any kind of video currently, and we will need them in a second. And of course we are also going to just design a top bar, menu bar, navigation bar like this. It should be white, so let's fill it, and it shouldn't have any borders, but we could make them outside. So we have a small line there. Maybe let's just go for this and let's add a small, not that visible line or border like that. Let's change the size like that. Then we are going to need a menu icon. I will just go for this one right here. Of course you can go for any other icon set that you like. So let's just drag this to the top. Let's zoom in a bit like this. And let's drag it to the top. Use your arrow keys to position it correctly. And let's also give it a different fill like this. What we also going to need is a search magnifier icon, which we can find right here. Copy it and paste it into your document. Like that. There we have it. And of course I would like to have the same size as, the same color as our menu icon. And we can just like grab the color using our pipette tool like that. Then I would like also, of course, to give this a title, and let's call it Fashion Feed. Let's give it a nice font weight and a better size, like this. And this is basically our top navigation bar. So for the content, I would like to just create boxes which we are going to fill in with images. We are using masks for that later on, but at first let's just get a box. This will be like the premium box that is like having an announcement or something like that in it. Let's just call it premium box, and I will also call this like top navigation or something like that. We can just copy this one and drag it down, and then we can just change the size, of course, to about this. I like to give these different colors so we can see the difference between these blocks. Like this. And at the bottom I would like to have a navigation bar or menu bar in this case. So we can actually just copy the top bar and align it at the bottom like this, and we can fill it with icons. And we can of course just grab some standard icons like a grid icon, so people can go back to the grid or to the home screen or something like that. Then we can grab a user icon, which is randomly placed at the right. Paste it in. Let's just get some eCommerce icons, like a basket or something like that. Or like a heart for the favorite items of our shop, we have here. Yeah, so let's just use 4 or 5 icons for this tutorial. It's of course just an example, and I hope you can learn something. And here is the basket. Like that. Let's just stick with these 4 icons, drag them down like this, and let's position them in a way that's like fitting our needs. This is going, oops, like this one is going all the way to the right. Sometimes like really hard to navigate or to really select these icons. But I think we are going to get this done. Like this. Then just place them correctly. Of course, I'm not going to be pixel perfect right here, but if you are really doing it for a job or something like that, you should be careful with the alignment, and you should of course go with a grid and so on. But we are going to just skip this step and use our icons in this way. I would like to highlight this one because it's like the current screen. We can go for a red, and let's change the color of these one right here so they are less important because of the color. And this is basically our first screen, which we are going to fill in with images and some text, of course, and so on right now. And this time we are not using images from any free websites or something like that, but the guys from Graphic asked me if I would like to just use their photos in one of my tutorials, and this is very nice, and I want to show their website to you for a minute. They have some illustrations, vectors and photos, so we can of course browse them right here. You see that they have like illustrations or all these colorful badges, ribbons and so on, which we are not needing right now. They have also vectors, which can be quite helpful for any kind of projects, icons and so on, like this. And we are going to grab some of their photos, which you have right here. You can also of course just search for any kind of photo that you like, for example nature. And the special thing about this website is that you just have to pay a fee, an annual fee, for example, of $99, and you can download all of their photos for free. So you don't pay per photo or something like that. You can just grab any of these photos if you have the subscription. You can download any photo just directly from this screen right here. You don't have to go to the detail page, and you can also add it to a folder like that, really easy. And just go to graphicstar.com/YouTube or click the link in the description below, where you can get an exclusive 7-day free trial for this website. So I hope this is a nice deal for you. You can get a 7-day free trial of this website, which is nice. Here you have all the details, the dimensions and so on. So you see you get really much space, like big photos. And for our project, I searched in the 300,000 photos that they have for some nice ones that we are going to use. I already downloaded them, and the great thing is that all memberships come with a 100% royalty-free agreement, which means that you cannot get sued by any copyright holders or something like that. You can use the photos for free and in any private or commercial project. Okay, enough about that. Let's just get into Sketch again. As I said, I have downloaded these photos. In the trial, by the way, you can download 140 photos for free. So you don't have to pay anything and you get 140 photos. And that's just amazing. Okay, so as I said, I have downloaded all the photos that we are going to need in a folder. The link to any of these photos is also down in the description, so check that out. And yeah, here is our sketch file, and we are going to just drag in all the photos into our Sketchapp. Easy like this. It will probably take some time and hopefully not crash, because all of these photos are so big. They have such a high resolution, but I hope we can really get the job done. Here they are, like this. Let's group them up, and there we have them. I will just make them a little bit smaller, so I guess this will also be easier for Sketch to handle them. But let's see. So here's our artboard, and let's just place these photos somewhere we can see them, like next to our artboard. And the next thing that we are going to do is to pick photos which will be placed in one of these boxes. Like this, so we have this man athlete, and we are of course going to need a special picture for this promotion kind of box. And I really like this one, or maybe this one for this promotional box. So yeah, let's just drag in these two photos in our iPhone artboard to this premium box, which is at the top. Let's make a mask and ignore the underlying masks for all of the other artboards. Yeah, it's already done. And we can just drag them over. Oops. We can of course just drag them into our artboard. Now it's not a mask again, but yeah, now it's working. Drag them to the correct position and let's change the width. Like this. And we can of course change the size of any special photo like that. This could be a nice photo, or maybe we can also of course just go for this one. Let's decide this later on. We have two more boxes. I would like to have one for men clothing and one for women clothing. So let's just go with the men one first. Not sure which one we will take. Maybe this one. Drag it over. Make this a mask and ignore the underlying masks right there. Sometimes it's in Sketch not that easy to work with things that aren't in the artboard yet, but we can drag them to the correct position and the mask is snapping back in. Yeah, of course, let's change the size and let's drag it to the position that we want, like this. And then we can choose what we would like to see on the photo. Maybe this, or like this one, like that. Then I would like, as I said, to see a box for women clothing and one for accessories. So we have this one, we have that one, this one will be for accessories, and maybe, yeah, let's just go for this one, drag it in, make this a mask, and ignore the underlying mask. Whoop. Okay, this is the one we need. Just do the same process again and again as we try to really have a nice design. It takes some time, but once we get the result that we wanted, everyone will be happy about it. So just select it, and of course let's make it smaller again. Let's position it like this, and we can after that just go for the last photo, which will be accessories. This one, drag it in, create a mask. Did this so many times, but this is just the last time. Thanks for your patience. And drag it to the correct position again. So this is going to be the last photo. And we will place it like this. So now let's add some typography and some text and so on. As I said, I would like to have a banner at the top, which is like saying there are discounts going on, and I would like to have a rectangle placed at the center of the photo, no borders, and a light white like overlay. Let's center it up, and here we have it. We can of course also go for a background blur like this. But I wouldn't do this right now because it looks weird and we have so beautiful photos, so let's just go for a changed opacity of the color, of the background color like this. So now let's add some text, and let's call this international brands. The next line will be the discount. This will be 50% off, like that. And we are picking the same color as we used it at the bottom. So let's just increase the size again. Or maybe let's go for this one, like that. Let's reduce the size a bit, and let's center them. Oops. Let's center them individually, right, like that. And maybe you've seen it before, would like to go and use some brand logos. I already downloaded them. You can find them over at Google. Of course, they need to be smaller as well. And let's place them in our artboard, like that. Of course, they need to be way smaller. Like that. Then we can just drag them to the correct position. Group them. I call them logos, and center the group like that. So this is basically the intro banner that we have, but I would also like to say that these clothes right here, oops, are for men. So I will just paste in this text layer. There it is. Needs to be right there. Sometimes in Sketch it's hard to like just select or click the layer that you really want to click, but I'm trying my best. You see that I'm always like selecting something else, which is kind of annoying. Now I got it. This one right here is for men. And of course we are going to make this white, so it's like visible, very good. We can make it bigger. Like that. And change the position. Then I just copy it, and I would like to have this one saying it's for women. Just hit down the Alt or Option key, then you can select the text easily. Choose a nice position. And I think here we are going to grab a black color, or maybe white, but we place it at the bottom like this, and this one right there. Then let's just change the font size and make it a little bit smaller again. Like that. And for the last one, I would like to just call it accessories. And we are going to place this right here, like that. So it's not even visible. Of course, normally we would just write down accessories right there, but as I said, you can't really see it, and that's not a problem. But like, yeah, this is the screen basically that we did so far. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, because it was the 100th tutorial on the channel. And yeah, also thanks to GraphicsDoc for these photos that we can use. As I said, check the link in the description. And I hope to see you in the next video. So thank you for your time and enjoy your week. See you.